Hello everyone, in this video I will demonstrate how our team validates key user stories and scenarios with our industrial partner through iterative prototype development. The final prototype shown here was developed through multiple stages. In the client meeting, we presented an earlier workflow prototype, received feedback, and then refined the design into the current validation version. In this walkthrough, I will focus on our 4 key scenarios and explain how the final prototype reflects our user stories, personas, and client feedback. So the first scenario focuses on generating and refining academic images. This scenario supports user stories about image generation, iterative refinement, prompt editing, and version history. On the generator page, the user enters an educational prompt, generates an image, and immediately sees the metadata and the next step actions. On the refinement page, the user can edit the prompt, regenerate this image, and compare versions and check the refinement history. In the earlier version we showed to the client, generation and refinement were clearly present, but the workflow was less clear. In the final version, we strengthened metadata visibility, version history, and the workflow continuity so that image generation feels more like an academic drafting process rather than one-click final result. So we can use this and generate. It will be a metadata image here, and the metadata will be here. So if we want to refine the image, just click here and say here, generate a new image will be generated. So in the scenario 2, the second scenario focuses on saving, checking, and submitting image for review. This scenario supports user stories about previewing generated images, saving them to a workplace, and checking approval status. In my workspace, users can manage their content across draft, pending review, in here, review, and approved status. This makes it clear that generated images are not automatically treated as a verified academic assets. Users can refine a draft, submit for review, check the status, and review reviewer feedback on the approved items. This part became stronger after validation because it was clear that users needed a personal area to manage their own content before anything entered the shared library. And if we want to click here, you can see this is the version history, the metadata, and if you can also to regenerate or submit to review. So to review the approval and provide feedback, the third scenario focuses on the reviewer, side approval and feedback. This scenario supports user stories about reviewing submissions, approving or rejecting them, providing feedback, and viewing metadata during review. On the reviewer dashboard, the reviewer can inspect the original prompt, submission details, source type, and image metadata, then provide feedback and make an approval or rejection here. So we can see there are 4 status here. They are pending request and reviewed here. So the scenario became especially important after the client meeting. One of the strongest pieces of the feedback was that the real value of the platform is not an image generation alone, but the transaction from the user-generated content to reviewer certified academic assets. As a result, the final reviewer dashboard places a much greater emphasis on review workflow, metadata visibility here, and we can also prove outcomes. The reviewer can reject or approve, and also it can provide the constructive feedback on the blank here. So the fourth scenario focuses on browsing the verified assets and reusing them in the academic content. This scenario supports users about searching the library. So we're back to the library here. This scenario supports users about searching the library, filtering content, and viewing metadata. Each one has equipped with this information. In the final library page, users can browse the verified assets and they have labeled with it. If we click here, we can reuse this prompt and copy citation or download the high resolution image. The citation page extends the workflow by showing the source prompt, source type, and the certification status. reviewer information and recommended citation text together with an academic interpreting note. This area was also strongly shaped by the client feedback. The client suggested that the library should become more central in the system, rather than treating the generation as the only key function. In response, the final prototype represents the library as a reusable academic resource with verified access, metadata transparency, and citation-supported reuse. So, in conclusion, overall, the final prototype shows a clear alignment between Prasanna's user stories and the interface design. Lecturers and postgraduate students are supported through generation, refinement, metadata visibility, and citation-ready outputs. Reviewers are supported through structured approval and feedback workflows. And the curators are supported through verified library publication, tagging, filtering, and prompt reuse. To conclude, the final prompt reacts not only our prioritized user stories, but also the key insights gained from the validation from our industrial partner, especially around the review transparency, metadata persistence, a more central verified library, and a citation-aware academic reuse. So that's all. Thank you.